Michael, Copon. Go ahead and turn your name badges around so everybody can see who you are once you've taken your seats, everybody. Welcome to Albuquerque, everybody. Here we come. Oh, someone came correct. Okay, oh yeah. I love it very much. Thank you all for coming to Albuquerque, and yeah, air basing, air guitaring. I can already tell this is going to be a fun one, everybody.
Oh yeah, why not?
Yes. My name is Madalena Martin. I'm a last-minute fill-in moderator for this panel, but I'm very excited because I definitely grew up watching the OG series when I was in college instead of going to class. Thank you for my failing grades. I appreciate that. I want to do a quick introduction to everybody because we have Rangers that span the entire lineage of the series, and as you know, as fans, there's been a lot of different iterations of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
30 years!
It's time for a selfie. There we go. All right. Then starting here to my left, I want to introduce Brandon J. McClaren. Give it up for Brandon, everybody.
What's up, everybody?
Brandon entered the Power Rangers family when he portrayed Jack Landors, the Red Ranger, in the series Power Rangers SPD. I'm getting a little feedback on this. If you can cut it back down a little bit, thank you. He also appears in Comic-Con favorites Smallville and in the instant cult classic Tucker and Dale vs. Evil. And he was also a series regular on Captain Mal of the Serenity's Ever Show, The Rookie, and also in an episode of the underrated classic series of The Chris Isaac Show. That made me very excited. That's old school and an amazing show. To his left, we have the OG, the original Black Power Ranger, Zack Taylor. He's also acted in another Comic-Con favorite series as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, as well as several mainstream comedies and dramas in both film and television. He's done extensive voice acting in various Power Ranger stories as well as other projects, and in 2024, he returned to the role of Zack Taylor in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers 1, 2, 3. You can also cut this just a little bit, I'm still getting a little bit of feedback, thank you. In the middle, we have the newest Power Ranger, the newest one to join the family. We have Charlie Kersh. Everybody give it up for Charlie. Yeah, we got some Charlie fans out there. She plays Minh Kwan, the Yellow Ranger in Once and Always, and the daughter of original Yellow Ranger, Trina Kwan. She's appeared in Showtime's Happiest and portrayed Lavender in the touring production of Matilda the Musical. She's also a two-time martial arts world champion and will be taking care of any hecklers during the panel.
She's also providing my personal security for any hecklers.
Exactly.
Much coming.
Security. Yes. To her left is Jason Faunt. Jason, go ahead and turn your name tag around unless you want to write on it somebody else's name that you want to be for the day. Okay, all right, good.
I'm trying to keep you guys guessing.
Jason made his debut as the Red Ranger Wesley Collins in Power Rangers Time Force and played the character in the follow-up series Wild Force, Super Mega Force, and Super Ninja Steel. He's also appeared in the Comic-Con favorite series Resident Evil, and last year in the film The Seductress from Hell, which I've not seen but sounds awesome. Yeah. Give it up, one more time, Jason. And finally, all the way there at the end is Michael Kwan. He made his debut as Copon, made his debut as Lucas Kendall, the Blue Ranger in Time Force, and reprised the role in Wild Force. He also had a recurring role on One Tree Hill, and appeared as himself on one episode of the horror series Courtney and Ken Take New York. So, for Michael Copon, everybody. Still getting a little bit of feedback. I am a stand-up comedian, so
that is hilarious.
A little weird. Now, I was told, like, one of the things that we've been polling people, right, as we've seen them on the floor in Power Ranger gear, like, what's the one thing you want to see from the panel? And the number one answer was they wanted to see some demonstration of martial arts skills.
Woo! And we got
We've got two trained professionals. Here we go, Walter and also Charlie. So do you want to give us a quick demo? Is this okay? Are we assured for this?
Go get him, Charlie.
Yeah! World champion martial artist. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
You got room? Be careful. No pressure.
Charlie. See, that's the way she is in the morning when you wake her up too early. That's good. We're like, it's hard. You're like, hey, Charlie, get up. It's crazy. Good job.
Brandon, are you trained? I heard someone giving you a shout out. No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Jiu-jitsu's not as fun to watch like that, so that's fine.
Yeah. Now, Walter, you were a class leader.
I'm a trained martial artist, but I'm also 58. So, you know, I get paid a lot of money to do things that I do.
Insurance, look. Good.
So we just call you Sensei now.
Exactly, or something like that, you know.
I don't know if he was here for the earlier panel, the Weekend at Bernie's panel, but they didn't do any of that shit. So, Charlie Bernie was so much better. Is anyone else on that end, Jason, or Michael, are you guys martial artists at all?
I trained Jeet Kune Do and I did Jiu-Jitsu at very low levels compared to fellow Rangers.
Same, I took Kempo growing up. I roll around Jiu-Jitsu now, but mainly I was a dancer once I got to LA. So I started dancing. Once I learned that fight choreography is actually more of a dance, I got more into looking at it from that perspective for film.
And so then it opened it up as a possibility when you just saw it as a different type of dance.
Yeah.
So I guess this is a good leading question. Like, how much of the actual fight scenes and stunts and everything did you all do? And I'm sure it's different depending on your training, but we'll just start here with you. Vijay, did you do any of the fight scenes, or was that?
You know what? I mean, I guess for comparatively, like for the rest of my cast, I did the most, but that was still like not a lot. And I think for us, it was just a matter of time, you know? So like what would take me 19 times to do something real basic, they could do it once and we could move on. So I got to do like one fight scene at the very end, I think it was like the last episode. They kind of gave me like, they were like, listen, we have an hour to do this, so like tried to get it, but that was pretty much it for me.
And did you stick it? Did you get it?
Yeah.
Well, that's great, that's great. Now going back to the original series, where the budget had to be a lot different, right? Were you guys all kind of doing double duty, but doing stunts?
Yeah, no, we in the original series, we were responsible for everything. So we didn't do a lot of stuff in the suits because it was Japanese footage, right? So when we did all the transitional things, and we would fight the putties, the lower level villains, and yeah, I have my own martial arts form called hip hop keto. So I also danced and did martial arts at the same time, which is
breakdance fighting.
Breakdance fighting, that's it, exactly. That's right. That's right. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, like, we had a stunt coordinator, so he would, you know, go, all right, so here's your fight. You're gonna do this. You're gonna have these putties, whatever. And then when he'd look at me, he'd go, so what do you want to do? And I had to break it down and go, all right, give me 2 putties. I'm gonna do a flip over him. I'm gonna throw this kick. I'll do this, and then I'm gonna go to the ground. You try to stomp on me, and I'm gonna roll under you. Kind of like it was different. So it was a lot of fun. It was one of the funnest parts of the job for me.
I would imagine, because how old were you during the original series?
I was 26.
26.
Playing 16, yeah.
Yeah, so like it's still fun to run around and jump on things.
Oh yeah, at that time, like jumping and flipping and kicking, that was a lot of fun. It was like, now it hurts. So,
I sense a theme to the panel.
yes, right? I'm like,
The
hey,
averages of time on power.
don't let it show you one for 30 years, right? So we're 30 years old. That is older than a lot of our fans.
That's true. That's true. Well, I met some of your newer fans, like a young family who I think is here when I was preparing for it, and the youngest, who I think is maybe like 4 or 5, was in a blue Power Rangers outfit, and they already have the signed headshots and everything. And I think they're out here now. But that's the thing that's great about the series is it keeps regenerating, it keeps getting new Rangers, and they have the headshots from the original series though, so they can still go back because it was so expertly written and designed that you could replace Rangers, have new Rangers come in, and it all made sense continuity-wise. So. Yeah, 30 years is a heck of an accomplishment, for sure.
So, for Once and Always, we had 5 weeks to film the movie, so things had to move really, really fast. We had about 2.5 weeks of rehearsals, and I had previous martial arts experience before. At that time, I had about 5 years in Taekwondo, I was already a second-degree black belt. I had just gotten off winning my 2 world champion titles. And when we were rehearsing, it was more like, show us what you can do, and we'll add it in. And it was more like, can you do this? No. Can you do this? Yes, we'll add it in. It was just really fast, go, go, go. But it was a lot of fun, and I got to do, what I think my favorite thing was one of the wire stuff I got to do, where I'm in Rita's palace, and I'm caught between Minotaur, I think. And originally, they were going to have a stunt double do this stunt where I had to walk the pillar and do a backflip him, and that needed a wire. But the action director was like, no, I think Charlie can do this. We'll give her an hour, see if she can learn it. And so I got the harness on and I learned it in 20 minutes, and I got to set, and everything was prepared until last minute change, and they were like, oh, you rehearsed it where you're gonna flip over Minotaur's right shoulder, but since he has a big costume shield on his shoulder, you're gonna have to flip the other way. So it was like a last minute change on set, but I was able to do it, and we got it in a couple tries.
Have you been able to do any wire work since? That seems like the coolest thing.
Not since, but I am looking to do more.
Jason, what was your level of stunt activity during your run on the series?
Well, I think it was a little bit different when we came on the show later. I know things had changed a bit. We were SAG at the time. And our audition, from what I understand, was different. The originals, they said, hey, come on stage. They wanted to see physicality, movement, how you kick and punch. Ours was literally a 7-page audition. It was zero physicality. And it was all about, the audition for the role, and there was nothing. I kept expecting them to want to see something, but there was nothing during the audition process. There was a strike that was pending our season, so we were rushed as well. We had to get it in before the strike so we were working 6-hour days, or 6 days a week, 12-hour days, and the stunt team could just move it along faster. But I'll never forget, maybe because it was a SAG project at the time, they were trying to protect the actors. There was a scene where they needed my character to run up a flight of stairs, and they're like, nope, we got the stunt double. Put the wig on the Japanese double, and I go, guys, I played college and pro baseball. Like, I can run up a flight of stairs. And he said, no, just stay there. And I sat there while a guy was holding an umbrella over me to block me from the sun, and I remember thinking, I don't know how I feel about this. So they let us do very, very little in our particular season. Towards the end, we got to do a little bit more, but because of the strike and everything, yeah, they kept us away from it. But yeah, so that was my experience.
I am curious because you thought there was going to be physicality. Maybe also simply for my listeners who are coming to the same series. How did you prepare for it, not knowing that the audition process was going to be just much more acting focused, not physicality? What did you do to prepare? But this is a question for both of you.
Yeah, I just prepared. Like I had been doing soap operas at the time, so I had already done some stuff, but I just prepared the regular audition. I was prepared to be physical. I had done G-Kudo at that point, but it just never came up. I mean, I think they were looking at us and they kind of had an idea how they wanted the cast to be, but I just expected something to happen. And then once we got the parts, they were teaching us how to fall, and they did some kind of a crash course in that. But we were pretty limited, and the stunt team is one of the best in the world, so tip my hat to them.
Michael, did you prepare at all? Were you thinking this is going to be a more physical process to get the role?
You know, it's funny you say that, because actually when we auditioned, at least for me, it was, they didn't tell us the show title. I auditioned the first time as a show called Wizards. They just gave us some random sides, and then it led into finding out it was for Power Rangers. But we were one of the 3 years it was part of the Screen Actors Guild, so I think our year they were telling us it wasn't going to be, at least what I was told, it wasn't as much. They were looking for, like, I guess, more actors, because they had Vernon Wells from Mad Max,
Edward Albert,
and Edward Albert. So I feel like we knew we were going to be, brought in as actors for the show and stuff like that. So I didn't think we were going to be fighting, but we actually did. Like you said, we were able to fight. But I think what it was for me was a platform, because I've worked with probably about 10 to 15 people who were either involved in stunts or some on the show and films I've produced and things today, to this day, like even being when I did Scorpion King, I did all my stunts and that. So it kind of,
You did?
Yeah, I did 95% of my own stunts. I even jumping out of the building, all the horse riding's me. I jumped out of a 3-story building in the film. All that I wanted to do myself, and I even sprained my ankle like Jackie Chan in his movie. They had to build a boot around my splint, so I learned the hard way what happens when your actor does stunts. The rest of the movie was on painkillers. But but I think what it did, it kind of set a precedent, because I will say this: I've been on so many sets with action, and the Power Ranger stunt team is literally the best in the world. The way they just show up, they're so humble. They go and get flip kicked, knocked around can't even see, and then they get up and say, let's do it again. And like, they're not like, I just did a film with Scott Adkins, and like half the stunt team's kind of like, you ready for me? Okay, there you go. It's such a different, view when you see the Power Ranger stunt team and what Koichi did with that team versus every other stunt team. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, they're not here. We need to give a big round of applause. the show and it's come to life in such a beautiful way. I do want to get to questions really quick. I do have one quick question before we turn it over to questions from the audience, though. You all have very storied careers. Even Charlie, even as young as you are, you've already done Broadway, like touring Broadway shows and stuff like that. What does being a Power Ranger mean to you in the overall arc of your careers? Like, does it have a special place in your heart? Do you feel like it sets you up for future successes? And also, as a follow-up question, what's another non-Power Ranger role that you've done that is close to as special? And I'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's such a special fraternity. You know, I don't know. I mean, I know when I did this, I didn't think, you know, this would, you know, you part of this fraternity for the rest of your life.
Sorry.
And now that it's over, I think it's even more special.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so yeah, just grateful and blessed. And there's like a few projects that come along in like 20, 30 year career that kind of stay with you, where you meet great people that you stay in touch with for the rest of your life. And I did a show called Graceland on USA Network, and that was probably like the next kind of other project that's as special to my heart.
Nice. Great.
Did you got that from your website?
Power Rangers, I think it was the start of my career. Meaning, well, it was my first series regular role on TV, and I think it's definitely special because of the fact that it's 30 years, and then being one of the originals, to see it go from nothing to 30 years later, here we are. It's crazy. It's wild. In regard to other shows that I've done, I had a show on Nickelodeon called Space Cases. That was a lot of fun to do. But I think my favorite role that I've done, I think it was The Shield. I played Rondell Robinson on that. That was classic. Yeah.
Joe?
Well, one of my biggest goals in my acting career, and especially now because last fall I turned 18. So now I'm starting to be an adult now, yeah.
Paying bills.
One of my goals as an actor is to use my talents to spread positivity and inspire and spread light. And Power Rangers was such a perfect way of doing that. And if I'm being honest, I didn't know really how good Power Rangers was when I found out I booked it. Even when I was on set, it still really clicked in my head. I know before I went to New Zealand to film it, I went with my mom to Morphin in 2022. And she showed me, this is what it's like. This is how much Power Rangers has impacted people over the last 30 years. But it's when, after the movie aired and I went to Comic-Cons and I saw how much Power Rangers has really inspired so many people. And it just makes me so happy. And I think maybe another role that I've done is on Broadway when I was playing Lavender. Just singing and dancing and acting and seeing the audience smile and jump up and clap along, dance along, and it's just a great feeling to see and to feel. Sorry.
This does open a question. Do you think there's room for a Power Rangers musical on Broadway?
Go Power Rangers!
Yeah!
Okay, all right. Jason, what about you? What did it mean to be a Ranger, and what other thing did you do in your career that felt as special?
It's amazing. I think everyone always asks what's your favorite part, and I tell them that when we were filming, we were pretty much just 6 days a week, 12-hour days. I said it's meeting you guys and seeing the impact we had. I mean, I've been through 27 countries in the past 7 years. I've enjoyed these conventions. When they first asked me to come back, it was about a decade after the show, and they said, you got to come to this Power Morphicon and meet the fans. And I thought, well, they're not going to want to meet me. There's been 6 other Red Rangers. I don't want to be the guy in college coming back to the high school prom, So I came back, and it's just the overflow of love and support, and there's a very special bond that you'll see, and probably already are, between the fans and Power Rangers. There's a closeness that's very unique compared to all of any other pop culture, I think, because we have a very close relationship. So the stories that I've heard over the years, and I travel a lot with the shows, will bring you to tears. I mean, the stories are amazing of how you've helped impact lives, and that's my favorite part. Did not expect that, did not see that coming, and I'm just blessed that, I always say these guys, started this thing off, and they set the table for us, and we've been able to go on this journey with them, and they've been great helping us with these, as we will always help you with the family. And so yeah, I mean, other projects, nothing's ever come close. I've been back on the show through 4 different seasons. They brought me back, but nothing's ever come close to the kind of bonding that the show has provided for me personally.
Yeah, it's nice to know that it's a truly special thing behind the scenes, like it is for all fans as well. It's like going both ways, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Michael, what about you?
Yeah, for me, it was literally a life-saving situation. I was 17. I was living in my truck, 1982 pickup truck at the time, and I didn't have a home. I was taking showers at the gym, and I actually slept outside and of the audition. And the Iris's assistant, I think her name is Kathy, but Iris was our casting director. But she called me, brushed my teeth, and all that stuff in the bathroom in the audition thing. So I was like basically fixing my hair and all that. Coming out, I had this bag of stuff. She's like, "What were you doing? Taking a shower in there?" And I literally was like, technically.
That's a good trick. They probably felt really bad for you, and they're like, "You know, we should just give it to this kid. He's living."
I think that's what it was. But it got me my first apartment ever in life, and I actually lived with Debbie, the Yellow Ranger. That was my first apartment. We split apartment up in Santa Clarita. But I never thought that it would be what it is today. But it's such a cool thing. And I say this because now putting decks together as a filmmaker, I've done this big deck showing like franchises, and we're part of the top 20. We're a $9 billion franchise. I mean, just to give you perspective, Underworld is really only like 1.7 billion because they didn't have toys and comic books and things like that, but they had successful movies. It's like we're up there with these big Pokemon, Star Wars, Marvel. Well, of course, Marvel's in the 31 billion at this point now, but we're there. We're like a really huge pop culture phenomenon, and I'm a part of it. When I was putting it together, I actually was crying. I was looking at my wife. I was like, "Babe, I'm actually a part of this thing. This is crazy." And my son calls my toy. He knows his daddy. He says, "Daddy's only 3 years old." But this the thing where this is taken and be able to meet you guys. It's such a cool thing. And then I would say the only thing that other than Power Rangers that has touched me the same way is probably the first film I wrote, directed, and produced for only $10,000. I went back and I left Hollywood in 2011 after I did Scorpion King and Bring It On. I just finished that year, but I just needed a mental break, and I went home and I went back and lived in my mom's house. I just needed a break, but I bought a bunch of red cams and did the whole thing and started my own production company and made a film for $10,000. And still to this day, that film it's brought me to where I am now. And I talk about this 12-year cycle because 2000 to 2012 was like only acting, and 2012 to 2024 was all producing, filmmaking, and I'm walking into my next 12-year cycle, and it happens to be on every dragon year in the Chinese zodiac, which is ironic. So I'm excited about this next 12-year cycle, but Power Rangers is the thing that is literally in the bio. It leads the bio. Like that's the point. My first job, first audition, and now I've got this whole thing. It's part of my legacy, which is really cool.
What is the name of the film and where can people see it?
Which one?
The film that you made.
Oh, that one. That one's called Worth the Price. It's still on Amazon. It's called Worth the Price. I did Dystopia, that's on Amazon. Affairs of State. Actually, I gave the new Superman, David Cornison, I gave him his first job. It's called Affairs of State. Thor Birch is in it. He was producing my studio in Virginia. And Jason came out for a job. We did Dystopia. He's in the first episode of Dystopia. That's like end of the world. It's kind of like what's going on right now. Chip in your body, and, So anyways,
That's the next panel.
Yeah. So anyways, that, and I got, if you want to see, I got Death March with Scott Adkins and Cowboy Cerrone comes out this year, and then 1521 with Danny Trejo and Costas Mandalore and myself. I did that 2 years ago. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. I do want to take time to open it up. Do we have any questions for any of the Rangers? Don't be shy. Just raise your hand. Come on up. You right there, and then I'll get you next. The next person in the front row. Come on up.
All right. Thank you for being here today. Of course. I'm a big fan of the OG series, so great to see you, Walter. Loved your appearance in the original series. I have a question for both the newcomers and also everyone. For the newcomers, what was it like with the legacy of the series coming into it? How did that feel initially being selected to carry on that legacy? And then for the entire group, obviously the series has been around for 30 plus years. It's been parodied and whatnot. What are your thoughts on the parodies specifically say Green Falcon. That's all.
Green Falcon.
What's Green Falcon?
That's from Key and Peele, is that correct? Green Falcon is
Oh,
Key
yeah,
and
the
Peele,
Key and
yeah.
Peele.
Key and Peele.
Yeah, for sure. You didn't see the Key and Peele?
No, I'm not aware of the parody, but I'm gonna check it out. For sure.
Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I would say, you know, rest in peace, JDF. I mean, him and he came to set, and so did Austin. And I ran off a set to go meet them. So for me, I was 18 years old, like her age, and I was still a big fan of the Powers. Actually, I told Walt too. I still gotta get everyone to sign. I drew a picture when I was 11 of all the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and it's still sitting in my dad's house with the date of the 90s that I drew it. I drew a picture, and one of these days I gotta get it signed because it's still in color pencil. And I drew it when I was like 11 because I used to be an artist. And I never thought that I would draw that and become. So for me, it was like literally a nostalgic like legacy thing.
go ahead and jump in, man.
Yeah, I'm good. Okay, so my question. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. My question is, what are the actors in this panel right now who were in the original series? Yeah. Okay. The question that I have for you is that, how did you manage to get the audition to play the Black Ranger in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
It was just an audition. It was I had an agent at the time, and I was actually on the way to go do a variety show called Star Search in Florida. So, I was on a plane to go do Star Search. Actually, I competed against Beyonce back in the day. And we both lost. Yes, it was like, it's crazy. Anyway, so I was on the way to go do that show. Got a call from my agent, said, come in for this audition. And I was like, I can't, I'm on the way to Florida. So they were like, oh, it's a bummer because if it gets picked up, they're gonna do 40 episodes. And I was like, 40 episodes? That's unheard of. Yeah, it's unheard of. I was like, wow. And I went to Florida. The show, I lost, so I ended up going back. When I got back, my agents called and said they still want to see you. Can you go in? So I went in. The audition process was I had to read sides and do my lines, and then they asked me if I could dance. I showed them some dancing. Asked me if I could do any martial arts. I showed them martial arts. They asked me if I could do any flips. I did a back tuck, and they said, "Can you put it all together?" And I was like, "That's crazy." I'm like, right now, like no rehearsal. I don't get to just gotta do something right now. So I thought about martial arts and dancing and how to kind of put it together. I thought about break dancing. When you break dance, it's almost like you're battling, right? So you don't actually hit each other.
Yeah, I actually really love your dance moves in the show, dude. I was trying to practice.
Yeah.
I was watching the show on Netflix when I was like, back when I was like 12, 13 years old. It was kind of hard, but
yeah, man, it's not simple, but it's fun. It was a lot of fun.
yeah. And my second question I want to tell you is that, which by the way, rest in peace to Jason Deere Frank, my favorite actor. Rest in peace. How does it feel throughout all the years leading up to the day that he passed away? How does it feel about working with one of the legendary actors, Jason Deere Frank, the Green Ranger?
He was an awesome guy. He was an awesome martial artist, a great marketer, and he was a funny dude. So he's missed. We all miss him. But it was cool working with him.
Yeah, and I got a question for the Yellow Ranger, which this will be my final question. I haven't seen the new Power Rangers show that just came out recently, the Mighty Morphin one that you did. Is it kind of like the original, or is it like a reboot or something?
Well, it's a movie. It's on Netflix right now. And,
I'm sorry, what streaming service? I couldn't hear you.
Netflix.
Oh, on Netflix, okay.
Can we get Charlie's mic turned up a little bit? She's a little soft in the back of the room.
Hello, everyone. There you go.
We can hear you now.
No, it's on Netflix. It's a movie, and it's a story about Trinity's daughter and how she grieves her mom's passing and finds a way to go from a dark place to a lighter place, and she finds that places amongst the Power Rangers team.
That's actually really cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your question. Appreciate it. We're going to keep it with one question per person. You can come back after there's other ones. So with one question right there, I think you have the second hand. I saw. Come on up. Yep. with the amazing outfit? Hell yeah.
Okay, this question is for Charlie. You mentioned you love to, you had to sing and dance. Could you represent, like, singing a little bit?
Yeah!
I mean, Walter also competed against Beyonce, and no one's asking him to sing.
Does anybody here know Shania Twain? Well, I want you to clap along if you know this. I dream and we're stupid. I think a bit like you, but no one needs to know right now. I'm a tall, dark, and handsome man, and I've been giving and big plans, and no one needs to know right now. I'll tell him someday, someway, somehow. Keep it going.
Charlie, everybody. Right there, then we'll do Zack giving next, okay? Come on up.
Welcome everyone again. As we've already talked about in these panels, to many generations, you're heroes and inspirations to many. And it's had an impact that we've also talked about, hearing the stories from fans. Who is your personal growing up inspiration or hero, whether they be a real person or just a fictional character?
I feel like we've been going before. Let's go right to left this time. Michael, you want to start off with this one?
Probably me, it was me, right?
Jason, yeah. I guess I have to say Jesus and Jason at the same time. I would say my mom was a big influence in my life. She was a single mother. My dad and I are back in relation since I was like, he was in and out of my life in the early years, but like we have an awesome relationship now. She was just a single mom. I had another dad commit suicide when I was 11, another dad died when I was 20. Jason was a big part of that, too. He was my biggest mentor. When I was like 18, he kind of like took me under his wing. I was like a lone wolf in LA alone, and then we're still brothers to this day. And I was at his wedding, he was at mine.
Both my weddings, right?
Yeah. We're still brothers. And I would say, I think, my mom was big, I'm a spiritual person too, God, and also Jason is a big influence in my life. We're still really close brothers outside of this workforce. I would say they were big influences in my life, all three of them.
Gee, I was joking in the beginning, but thank you. Well, you said there were inspirations in our careers, or
He said hero. Like, who was a hero? Whether or not they're a real person or a fictional person, Power Ranger.
Yeah.
Like you have been for others.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess my father, but I guess I'll take a different angle just for variance on the question. But, growing up, I became a fan of, or wanting to be an actor because I had seen a movie called Risky Business starring Tom Cruise. And I just thought, the short story is that I had gotten pneumonia and was sick, and my parents both had to work, my mom and stepdad both had to work, and they rented these movies at Blockbuster. And during that 2 hours of watching Risky Business, everything just went away, and I just thought that looks like fun. So to me, that was kind of the inspiration, and he's always been someone that I've admired from afar, just because I think he's always done it the right way. And so I think Tom Cruise would probably be someone that I looked up to in this business and aspired to be like.
Great. Joe?
Well, I guess in my acting world, I really don't have a specific actor I look up to because I would say I was really taught to be my own person, to never chase to be like anyone else. But if I do have to thank someone, it would be my mom, because she's the one who introduced me to this whole thing in the first place. The reason why I started acting was was because I saw my first Broadway show, Mamma Mia. And what 5-year-old would go to Mamma Mia unless their mom told them to go to see the show? So I went, and I loved it so much, and I turned to my mom and I said I want to be on that stage one day. And ever since then, she's been by my side, helping me in my auditions, in everything. So, yeah, my mom, who's right there in the front.
Oh, come on, right?
I gotta go with the mom as well. My mom was definitely one of my heroes. She inspired me and taught me to be the best person that I could be, and taught me to be positive and optimistic, which I carry with me in my life. And I love that. But then Michael Jackson was a big influence. I remember watching him on TV and watching him perform as a singer, and with his brothers, and to be a kid and kind of be running the show, it was like, he was an amazing guy to watch. Super talented. I just remember watching him on TV, then walking around the house pretending I was him, doing the moves and singing songs. And so he was definitely a great motivator, I think, for me.
Yeah, and I gotta say my parents, both my parents are immigrants. They came to this country with not a lot so that I could live my dream and be on the stage talking to y'all. So.
Jason, do you want to change your answer now from Tom Cruise?
Yeah, I feel kind of foolish sitting up here. And I want to explain why. I didn't get to say anything. Pop culture. I wasn't allowed to watch anything rated R, so I was like living in a bubble pretty much my whole life. I think at 18 I went and watched all these movies and listened to Beatles and Elvis. I literally lived in a bubble. So that's why my answer is what it is, because I didn't watch pop culture things growing up.
I think we have time for one more question. This one in the blue jacket. You can raise your hand very, very patient. Please come up and give us our final question from Ken.
Hello, thank you guys so much. You guys have been such huge heroes for me and for, I do a TikTok and all the fans watch with me, and I've been kind of going on this journey where I've been watching all the old Power Ranger shows from Mighty Morphin all the way up to Once and Always. And so I just recently finished a project back in November. I called it Project Jason. And so my fans wanted me to ask you specifically. They wanted to know that you recently had a Power Rangers, there was an auction that happened recently, and that a lot of the stuff from the franchise was sold. And they just wanted to know what your feelings were on that specifically.
You know what, there's a couple of things. One, it should have been offered to us. I think that would have been nice for them to offer, especially for series to offer something that we started and it's grown to be as popular as it's been in 40 countries and many languages. But on the other side of that, there's this. I'm not a collector, but we have tons of fans that are collectors. And I think if someone from the fandom got a piece for Power Rangers, that it would mean so much more to them than it would mean to me. They're gonna make sure that it's displayed in the proper way. It's gonna be, maybe put up in a, they'll take great care of it. For me, it's part of my history, but it's not the same. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I had the Power Axe, I would probably put it up somewhere, but I think it would mean so much more to somebody else that was a fan of the show. They go, I got the original Power Axe. So I was excited that the fans had access to some of the original things from the show. And I'm okay that they didn't offer it to me, but it would have been nice.
Anyone else have thoughts on it, or was it just?
Yeah, we all feel the same with that. I think that it would have been cool to be offered that at first, since the franchise is worth billions of dollars. It would have been awesome to have that, hanging out. I mean, some crazy people bought their own stuff, but
Listen, I wasn't gonna be outbid by mine, so I did
call me crying. He's like, bro, I just spent $1,000 I bought another house and I bought my suit.
I took my original cadet jacket, so I'm Gucci. I stole that shit. I'm taking this. What are you gonna do? Fire me? It's the last episode.
Dude,
it's gonna be next year anyway.
A week before the end of the show, they literally hid all our stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because JDF apparently took so much stuff that they were like, we've had Rangers in the past that have taken all our stuff, so we're gonna give you they gave us the outfits we wear every day, like my all black with the blue shirt, which I still have, and I think you had your khaki. Yeah. They gave us that. We were like, bro, we were there every day. It was the same outfit.
Yeah, you know what, it's funny that it came up and I felt the same, but I was going, you know what, I'm gonna buy my suit. I'm one of those guys that's like, no, I'm gonna bid on my own stuff, and I got it. And so they did send it to me. It's pretty cool, like my name's in it, it's it. And I think that, and I don't know what I'll do with it. I mean, I have all this, and maybe I'll do something fun where I have a lot of this stuff up there. I'm not a collector per se, but I figure if I have all these cool action figures and I could put, you know, I might as well display it somewhere. And so I got it, and there it is.
Jason's the only one that can fit in his old costume.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for your question. That's a great question. And thank you everybody for attending the panel. One more time for the panel.
If you have any comments about this, come on by. We'd love to see you. All right?
We're outside. We're not in the room.
It's Morphin time!
Thank you all so much. Coming with hospitality. And guys, have a great rest of your con. See you next time.